Hey favored ones, welcome back to another collective reading. I'm Kymmy. Come on in and take a seat at the round table. For anyone who cares to, there's the wishing well in the corner. Throw in a couple of coins and we'll get started into it. So for anyone who is new, welcome, and for anyone who is returning, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate everyone who comes in and leaves me messages of that's not only confirmation for you, it also works as confirmation for myself that my intuition is on point. So I appreciate all those extra love notes from the universe through all of you. For any of those who are new, most channels on YouTube will either have some sort of sound cleansing or a meditation prayer before they start their videos. Over here, I like to do something called Welcoming in Utopia. Welcoming Utopia, welcoming in Utopia. There's no wrong way to say it. And you just take a moment and you really meditate and hold the frequency and the energy and the idea. You can list things off. You can listen to a song of what your utopia would look like, feel like, taste like, whatever it would be to you, and just really hold that frequency. Some of you may notice that your left eye will itch or have a tingle in it. I noticed when I first started doing the exercise with my friend while testing this, that our eye would tingle, and I feel like that's seeing each other eye to eye through our spiritual selves, considering the left side is usually left is considered the spiritual side and right is considered physical. And also receiving energy as well. So I feel like we're receiving and welcoming in utopia into our soul, because eyes are the window to the soul. So that's just how I feel about it. You can take a moment and pause and really just zen into the reading. So before we get into it, I just wanted to go through quite a few downloads that I have written here as examples, all on the same subject about dials. So some of you could be literally making your way onto the radio station or big time reviews and numbers for your music. If you are excellent, list your newest song or your first release or whatever you got going on in your public and below, because I don't mind shouting people out, because we are all here, and once you reach it to the top, you turn around, you put your hand down, and you help people up to the top. I'm not saying everyone's gonna, not try to grab at your hand like crabs in a bucket, but I still feel like it's, I don't know, a responsibility almost to make sure that it's not hard for the next person. And I feel like that's the way it is for you as well, my favorite ones, is that you really like helping people not have to work as hard, like, not gatekeeping information, because information is meant to be shared, knowledge is meant to be shared. That's why I don't believe in universities and stuff like that for having to pay for tuition, but that's me. I don't believe that they should be giving children loans. Some of you may be dialing it in because you had to deal with a student loan, or you're making sure that you're keeping things on dialed because you have a student loan to be responsible of, and you're making sure that you're taking responsibilities to ensure your future. So yeah, you're making sure that you're dialed into the responsibilities of your future. That makes sense. Okay, don't touch that dial I kept getting it over and over again. Don't touch that dial. So people wish you made more music videos. Like, don't touch that dial, like where they used to be on Pokemon as well. Don't Touch That Dial was the pilot episode of Pokemon, and this feels like movie industry energy modeling, and for others it's embracing the beginning of the next chapter of your story, like if you're launching a book, You're launching a channel, a stream, short videos, reels. You're getting real with people. But yeah, there could be people who are big fans of your art and your creation, and people wish you would make more videos, reels, uh, and they really want to hype you up for longer stream times. So some of you may do streams on Twitch, and people are doing the hype train so that you will stay on longer, literally paying you to stay on longer. Because of your talents and your success and your determination to commit not only to yourself but to your goals. Dialing in on your gifts and fine-tuning. They not only gave me an imagery for a guitar, but they also gave me fine-tuning of like your voice. So some of you could be going for speech therapy, some of you could be going for going to accent school so that you can go into the movie industry, because you may want a role that involves impressions. You are also dialing into responding instead of reacting. You're not letting other people touch your dial of your vibration. Before, people may have been able to touch your dial and be like, I'm gonna bug my favored ones right now, and I'm gonna pull them out of their own energy and get them up out of their seat. And you're like, no, that's my dial, don't touch my dial. I'm within my own frequency and I am happy being here. You may want to work on that. Like, you're just not stooping to their level anymore. If someone talks down towards you, you're no longer even going to what is it called? You're not even gonna respond. You're not even gonna warrant that with you're not even gonna warrant that with a response, because it's not warranted. You're just gonna turn around and walk away and go to another part of the function and start a conversation with people who you know got your back, and you don't have to put up with that. You're like, oh, I walked over here to make nice with you, and you're obviously not a nice person. I'm not gonna make not nice with you. I'm just not going to involve myself. So you're no longer getting involved with things that are, it's not that you're better than people, like when I say that you're no longer associating with things beneath you, but not associating with things that are not worth your time. And it's not because you think you're better than anyone else, it's just that you know that your energy is sacred and blessed and wonderful. Yeah. Confirmation from Kilimanjaro. Some of you may have a hit after hit after hit when it comes to your music, or you're really good at video games, throwing events like weddings or whatever. You have a hit after hit after hit, because inside of, was it COD or Halo? It was Halo. In Halo, Kilimanjaro was when you were on a killing streak, and getting like headshot after headshot. So some of you may be really good at hunting and getting your own natural source of food. Or people just think you're a really big hit. Like, whenever you come out, everyone's always exciting. They're like, wow, I'm really glad that that favored ones came out today to celebrate, because whenever they come out, it's just a really big hit. They always know how to have fun, but they also know how to take responsibility, which is the best type of people to have fun with. Maybe you're like the dad friend or the mom friend, making sure people are hydrated, making sure people are taking care of their car and they got their winter tires and everything else like that. Just making sure that other people are taking care of themselves. Just making sure that they're doing the best for themselves. If you're like, and having a fun time. It's not just about being your best self, it's about being your favorite self. So you're making sure that people aren't taking themselves too seriously all the time, and really being able to let their guard down so that they're not, stressing themselves to past their limit. I also had the impact dial that I wrote down from One Piece. Maybe spoilers or whatever, but if you are not that far ahead, then it's been a couple of years, it's not really far ahead, but if you're not that far along into the story, you may not know what it means, but regardless, you won't know what it means anyways, because I'm not giving spoilers other than its name. You're making a lot of impact right now. You are making a lot of impact. And with the other impact tiles, like, you're honing on to skills and you have them in spares. Just like when people think you're only one kind of talent and creator, then all of a sudden out of nowhere you're like, yeah, but I also do law. I'm not just a waitress. I also am taking law school. I'm not just a poet, I also know how to play the guitar. It's like, I'm not just, I'm not just a promoter. I actually am really good at making beats. Just knowing that you're able to do all these other types of things, it's like people are starting to see that you're not even at your final form, and you're growing daily. You're like, they already think you're so talented, and then you're like, oh, but I also still wanted to learn about all these things. And that's what I think is so wonderful about my collective of Faevoured ones, is you're yearning for some learning, for real. Like, you're constantly wanting to learn. You're like, great, I learned a lot about this, but now what's the next thing? A lot of you may get hyper focuses and move on from one thing to another. I know I can definitely be guilty of that sometimes myself. Neurodivergent for the win. But yeah, fine-tuning your gifts. So this could be spiritual, this could be an actual instrument, this could be fine-tuning and listening to your body's requirements, what kind of foods you enjoy, and what kind of how much of those foods you can enjoy. A lot of people can eat a lot of spicy foods, and for others, people's face will like literally break out with red, and like the blood vessels will pop easily. For others, they'll get a same spicy meal and then add Tabasco on top and some ghost peppers because they can handle it. And for others, they'd be tapping out because they had added too much like chili powder and didn't even get a spicy, just added some, and then they were like, that's too much for me. But that's okay, because it's for you. It's not for them, it's for you. And I think that's amazing that you are doing things for you now, to be your favorite self, to be having fun. Yeah, I think I'm getting dialing into the future, because before you might have been setting the dial on the remote and pressing rewind and dialing back into what could be over and over again, and now you are dialing into the present. You're no longer dialing about what could happen in the future, what could happen in the past. I'm getting that, like, what was it? I think it was called Click. It was by Adam Sandler, where he was literally had the remote going back and forth and skipping through life and everything. And you're skipping through life by watching your past over and over again and ruminating about the future. Which brings me to the song that I clairaudiently was getting, was Big Sugar, If I Had My Way. And it's like, I would just shake off their promises. Here it is. I have it. If I had my way, I would take all your promises and just shake them all. So, like, you're shaking them all. You're shaking off the promises of you're shaking off the disappointment and shaking out the field of F's, because you have no more to give. So you are no longer handing out F's to anyone about their promises that they made you in the past. You're like, you're not making good on your promises. You're not reliable. And if you're not reliable, then I'm not going to take your word for face value anymore. That's on me. If you are unreliable and you can't make a certain date over and over again, I'm going to stop scheduling time with you. Or if I do schedule time with you, I'm going to make a backup plan, because you keep not being able to fulfill your side of the, agreement and responsibilities. You're also shaking off all of the, you remember with the remote, here's the part where it comes in. You're shaking off all of the promises that you made to yourself. I was going to do this by this age. I should have done this by this age. This should have been done by now. Or I promised that I would lose this much weight, and I promised myself I would do this. And you're giving yourself grace. You're shaking it off. You're like, you want to know what? Goals change all the time. Just because the goal post, moved a little doesn't mean that the goal has to change. It's just going to take a different approach. So don't give up on yourself yet. Just don't give up on yourself, or at all. I'm putting my hands down. A lot of you could be putting your feet down for yourself and knowing that it's never too late to turn this shit around and fucking zoom in on yourself. I'm swearing now. But, trying to stay... okay, sensory is fun. A lot of you may be not censoring yourself anymore. A lot of you may be promising that you were going to stick up for yourself and maybe, working towards not people pleasing as much anymore. And you found yourself falling back into that routine of saying yes even when you didn't want to. And now you've noticed that, and maybe you're like, I should have been healed and I shouldn't be people pleasing like this anymore. And you're not doing that anymore. I feel like you're really dialing into that you breathe and listen energy. You sleep and I stare. You wake and I'm already there. So peace came to me is in the song. If I had my way. Peace came to me. Peace is coming for you. Welcoming in that utopia. Peace comes for me is the affirmation. So I wrote down some of the affirmations. I think there was another part of the lyrics that it really jumped out for me. Peace came to me, so I met her in the middle. I said, show me who you really are. Peace came to me like a ringing in my mind. How did I let it get this far? you know, and you're no longer worried about like, how did I get like this? How did I end up here? And instead of being like, how did I end up here? Why is my life like this? I feel like you're like, wow, I'm really grateful that I went through all of that and I am still here and I got better and I didn't just sit there and let it get the best of me. Because it doesn't make you. I know a lot of times people are like, you know, what you went through made you stronger. No, you were already a strong person. You could have shown that in a different way, but that was the environment that you were given and your soul lesson that you had learned. And I believe at any point, if you want to, you can ask the universe to show you how good it gets. It could be like, universe, I don't think I can do that soul contract this time. Can we rip that up and have a more easy rest of my life? Because you're allowed to choose with free will. You can choose that and rip up the old contracts. Sure, you may have to learn it in a different parallel life, but you won't have to learn it in this one. Or you can at least be like, I took on way more lessons than I could chew. I was very ambitious and had bigger eyes than human stomach when I was looking at the menu before incarnating here. Can you give me a break? And I'm sure as soon as you ask your guides for help, they will give you a hefty helping. You want a big serving of help? They're like, you want some more? Here's some more. You want some help? I got you. Oh, yay! Just as I said that you want a hefty helping, I had made a lunch for my partner and he just messaged that it was delicious. So I'm super grateful that I can help make food for others and give them nourishment and love. Food is definitely a big love language of mine. That may be for some of you as well. I have affirmations here. Some of you may enjoy askformations. I'm not sure where Brittany, the intuitive cosmic wifey, got it from again, but I know that she learned it from someone, and a big shout out to it because I really enjoy that. So if any of you don't feel super confident in any of these, you can certainly ask the universe to help you feel those energies. And like I just said, they will serve you a big helping. So I am safe. I am whole. I believe in myself. I ensure that I am always taken care of. Some of you may drink those like liquid milk meal things like Assure or stuff like that. Some of you may take protein powder shakes and do smoothies or pre-workouts, uh, protein shakes. I was going to say protein powder. I'm like, no, they don't just eat some of you might just eat the protein powder, but that's not what I meant to say. So, another download that came while I was meditating was mod tech fire spinning style and speech therapy. Already came out naturally again for speech therapy, vocal lessons, mod tech fire spinning. So some of you may be into fire spinning or have mobile aids, and you may be looking into how you can do the things you've always wanted to do with modifications and assistance. Because I know that there's a new fire spinning tech called mod tech fire spinning, where they do fire spinning while sitting in a wheelchair, which is super cool to me. I find that amazing. Anyone who is brave enough to get it close to themselves and go for it, I applaud you. So some of you may be into fire spinning, festival type of entertainment, such as hula hoops, puppeteering, um, what are they called? Acrobatic air spinning. What are they? Silk spinning? Air, I forget what they're called, but they use the silk scarves in order to do acrobatics in the air. I think it's called scarf spinning. I'm not quite too sure. Either way, batons, all those cool, fun stuff. Some of you may be into building the stages, and you are keeping in mind for those who have mobility assistance and aids, that they will feel included. The fact that you may have sign language interpreters. I don't want to say American Sign Language because there's a lot of different types of sign languages. So you may be making sure that there is an interpreter at your events. You're just really making sure that people feel more inclusive. The fact that people are able to get around, making sure that people have clean environments. A lot of you may be going around with this cold weather and handing out donations for those who are in need, soup kitchens at this time. You could be going around and helping those in need. A lot of you could be upset because people like try telling you that you're not doing things properly while touching the dials with like DJing, or people try to touch your dials while you're trying to do your work. I'm sorry if that happens to you. That's so unprofessional. It's also, well, they're not working. That's also just totally rude, and it's frustrating. I definitely feel your frustration on that one. So I'm hoping that more people will, you're going to be making sure that people are less likely to touch your dials next time by maybe setting up more security, just knowing that you're learning from this, and you may be a little worried about that at your next show. Let the people at the event center know your concerns, and maybe they can set up a security, or they can set up one of those like what are they called? Line, where thank goodness for otter protection. Some of you might have a significant otter who will be there to help you during your sets. Yeah, buddy system. I feel a lot of you are getting into your buddy system, where you're starting to have one person where you bring along to go with you for certain things. This could be partnering up, finding a new best friend, stuff like that, because with otters, they hold each other's hands while they float down the river so that they don't lose each other. So I feel like if you're going to a festival and stuff like that, you're going to be setting up times where you want to meet, where you're going to go and get water breaks, you know, and making sure that you're not getting separated from each other while traveling. Yeah, you're definitely cutting through distortion and illusion at this time. Server of Swords. I'm pretty sure is Page of Swords. So you are at the beginning of cutting away the illusion that you are not meant to be in the spotlight. You are so meant to be in the spotlight, and you're like trying to fight it. You're in your mind, almost like trying to fight away all this praise and spotlight heading towards you. And as being an indentured wallflower, you may be fighting against it at this time. There might be some mental blockages, some stage fright that you're working through at this time. It is so not easy, and I applaud anyone who is doing their best. Even if you start by taking an assertive class, there's a assertive Toastmasters below in my descriptions, as well as assertive classes that I was suggested by my therapist when I went through therapy. There's also doing stuff like this, filming yourself. You don't have to share it with anyone, but just getting used to speaking over and over again and learning how to be comfortable with silent pauses. If I had my way. Some of you may work in a cannabis store, because I know that one of the very, where you mishear lyrics, I know if I had my way, one of the misheard lyrics is like, if I had my weed. So if you had your weed, if you're having to have weed, then you would have to go to the store. So you may live in places where that's legal. I know there's all of Canada, Colorado, I know for sure is one of the states. So some of you may be from Colorado, or you just do it illegally, which is whatever. It's not for me to judge you. Remember to clean your paraphernalia and to check your drugs, because there's a lot of stuff going out there nowadays. Be safe. And for anyone who has any problems against that, it's not for me to judge anyone's sobriety journey, and relapse is part of recovery. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I know because I did it. But yeah, make sure that you're keeping yourself safe and testing and making sure, if you're going to festivals and stuff like that, make sure that you are bringing stuff if you're planning to partake, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because I've seen a lot of people lose their lives, and I just don't want to see that happen to anyone else. Okay, favored ones, I love you. Justice, yes. You are starting to realize you were dialed in on the life that you wanted exactly to experience at this time. You feel it in your soul. Some of you may have done past life regressions, which is just parallel life peaking, and may have traveled during astral to different parallel lives than the ones you were experiencing right now, and realize that you don't like those other versions as much as you enjoy this one. For any of those who have done quantum hypnosis healing technique, where you literally go through past life regression meditations, or traveling through the astral that way, where you have someone else speak it over you. Or some of you could be teachers and you help people heal themselves through these journeys. And you're starting to realize what they're healing in this time, in this lifetime, and you're realizing that you're also not so different from your parallel lives, but you enjoy being in this one the most. So you may be doing stand-up improv, because with the melding of faces, it almost feels like yes and, yes and, yes and the story continues on, much like how being here is a play. But I feel like it's got a script, but it's also very much improv. Just like when there's some movies where the lines were not scripted, and you get the real life, reaction. And that's what's happening here with our energies, is we're getting the real life reaction to the script the spirit has given us. And sometimes we go per script, and sometimes we go off script and we improvise. So a lot of you may be improvising at this time because Spirit may have never gotten so close um, to getting you on your path. I feel like you may have had a lot of timelines where you clocked out, where you didn't complete your mission. And I feel like this time is where you are walking your path. This time you are walking the path of the light and going in instead of going towards the one where you live in your shadow and ego. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, this time is when you get your justice. This time is when you are walking in your path. You may have noticed that when doing a lot of past life regressions. You may have noticed that you didn't walk the path that you were meant to, that you may have hurt a lot of people and yourself even. And this time you're getting justice. Life path number 11, embarking on the journey. Because life path 11 could be your destiny number. It could be your life path number as well. You could be life path number 2. So I'm going to read from the book now. A lot of you may work with sacred geometry, doing grid work and working with the ley lines and chakras. A lot of you may work on activating lakes and traveling around to different locations in order to bring spiritual abundance and vibrations to that area. Some of you may do this through throat singing or light languages, speaking in tongues. Blessing certain areas. Justice, truth and integrity, fair compensation, the law, cause and effect, being responsible for your choices and actions, balance, equity, karma, ethics, consequences, retribution. And all the things racing through her mind as she approaches the gateway of justice. Even though the destination is the same, the way she arrives has been bearing on her experience of the journey. When I kept saying the goalpost keeps changing, but the goal is the same, that's so cool how it sounds. So, even though the destination is the same, the goal is the same. The way you are arriving is different, and that's okay. That's okay. You were thrown for a loop and got back on your feet, and you're stuck in the landing. You're sticking the landing. You took the leap of faith, and you're sticking the landing. You took the leap of faith, you trust walked your way back over the goal line, and you're sticking the landing. A lot of you may enjoy doing dancing with the Running Man and Moonwalk stuck in my head there. A lot of you may be into shuffling or learning how to shuffle. The way she arrives has great bearing on her experience of the journey. Have I done the right thing? Do I feel proud of my actions? Have I been honest and fair? Do I walk with integrity? Yeah, you do. You trust walking your way over the goal line. Let's go. Let's go. Have I acted in alignment with my heart and with my values? So, yeah, you can, I'll put a post below in the description if you are feeling called to do so. But when I started out with therapy, One of the things that my therapist got me to do was find out what my core values are. And sometimes you may notice that you may not relate to other people's, not because they're toxic, but because of compatibility based on your morals and values. Well, morals is more like an ethics thing, and values is more about like where your priorities lie instead of like where does your ethics lie. Um, have I acted with alignment with my heart and my values? Her benevolent intentions have seeded her path with positive experiences and added ease. With a clear heart, she takes full responsibility for her actions. And with the law of cause and effect, her reality has been fashioned in kind. In the beginning, there is choice. In the middle, there is justice. Karma. And in the end, we meet our own hearts with great clarity. All that's left are choices, and yet all I do is sway. When right and wrong are voices, then the caused effect I pay. Inconsequential deviation. Inconsequential deviation, and from black and white I stray, when my passion clearly pushes back and walks me towards the gray. So yeah, you were working on rebuilding your gray brain matter. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through movement meditation, singing. It's not just the typical meditation where you have to be still and your mind has to be still. It's just whichever way you create flow. Sorry, my eyes closed there. I'm just trying to make sure that I can get all the downloads I need. Oh, typical. Oh, typical. Dear Empress, whether you are male, female, non-binary beings, you got people floored with the way you handle dealing with making do with what you got. You look like you got a lot. I'll say it again. Many people view you, well, you're just trying to make do with what you got, and to them, it looks like you got a lot. You look like this. You looks like you got you're sitting pretty. You got a throne. You got a whole field of abundance ready to break bread. You're ready to get that bread. What do you think all that wheat's gonna do? It's gonna get that bread. You got that bread. You got future bread coming towards you. You got present bread. Because you got your fashions, you got the fruitfulness with the fruit here on the dress. You're dressed in fruitfulness. A lot of you may be going through transition, and some of you may be going through speech therapy in order to change your vocal tones. For those who are in transitioning as well, that didn't come to mind until I had this with the female voice. A lot of you could be working on your heart chakra as well. But for anyone who is working to be, it doesn't have to be only feminine. You could be transitioning and wanting to deepen your voice as well. So like learning mannerisms and deepening your voice, or, you know, femming your voice as well. That could be another thing that you're getting speech therapy for, and really starting to be the person you really are. People are starting to notice you're just being who you are. which is wonderful. I love when people are able to just being able to see who you are. Number 3 could be important for you as well, since that came up. Yeah, turning the new page of your life with the pages of wands. So yeah, you're turning a new page in your life for the way you are thinking. You're cutting through illusions and fears at this time. Fear is not, courage is not the absence of fear, but doing things in spite of that fear. And I feel like that's what you're doing. I feel like you're telling your fears to take a hike, get a number. You got other things to worry about. And I love that. I love when people really take back their power and let distortion and illusion and distractions to try someone else, you know. Go play with someone else, because you ain't playing with me. I ain't doing it no more. I love that. I love that energy. I love that the fact that that's bringing in more peace for you. You're really welcoming in that utopia and embodying living within that energy. So I'm super excited for all of you, and I appreciate everyone coming through. We still climbing with those followers, so I appreciate it. Also, all of your stories, and like I said before, if you wanted to talk on a certain subject, or you wanted to shout yourself out below in this video, I would absolutely love to see what all of you are working on and get to know you better, because, you know, I'm just up here just telling y'all. And I just would love to know more about your lovely faces and souls. So thank you for coming through. Remember to eat, hydrate, and to have fun. Yes. Last part is important. You cannot put that on the back burner. It can't be done. The stars, they say, it must be fun time. Okay, bye.